So we're counting down the days until YouTube censorship will take over the entire platform and potentially take over all of social media as well, with more wider censorship rules coming into place in places like the US and also over here in the UK. Now, obviously, this is going to affect VTubers a lot, and I've made 2 videos, or no, 3 videos now, I think even, talking about this entire situation of how it's a very, very terrible situation for a lot of VTubers due to the fact of them giving away their identity. Well, the main point of being a VTuber, or I'd say for a lot of people, obviously some decide to reveal their identity, but for most VTubers, a lot of them like to stay anonymous. And with a lot of these kind of large databases being privately owned, it kind of brings up the kind of opportunity for a lot of hackers to target and hack these kind of places and potentially expose the identities of VTubers and just people in general, and just do some pretty horrible stuff with your information. And obviously that's what a lot of VTubers, including Bao, are fighting against, and obviously putting posts out on Twitter, getting people aware due to the fact of people wanting them to provide IDs. And we went through this tweet in a previous video, essentially, of another VTuber getting hacked by a crypto kind of hacker or whatever, and they're saying if YouTube can't even handle this, why should we trust YouTube with all of our IDs and all of the kind of like personal information? And obviously people in the comments saying stuff like, get ready for the great docs of 2026. They said, it's so over, everyone's going to see how chopped I was when I got my license. They said, I'm taking my passport photo to the grave of me, no thank you. Obviously that's from Vienna. So again, a lot of people are very worried about this in the VTuber community. But today I wanted to talk about what the overall VTuber community's reaction is to this, and what they think about potential VTubers quitting or not even taking place in the VTuber community in the first place, due to a lot of these social media kind of rules and to a lot of these laws that are coming in place from a lot of countries. Because we've seen in the UK that it's already been pretty bad with a lot of stuff being censored already, and now they're taking it one step further and targeting places like YouTube. Obviously this post came up over on r/virtual YouTubers, essentially saying YouTube states it will use AI to determine the age of its user base based on the watch history. If the AI false flags the user, they'll be able to rectify the situation by giving personal information such as face or social security. Do VTubers consider this a breach of privacy? And I say, my Google account is literally old enough to drink. I'm just gonna laugh like a madman if I ever get flagged for age verification. So again, obviously it is a big issue that could face a lot of VTubers, especially on YouTube, because it does it based off of the things that you watch. Now, obviously, I feel like VTuber content should be labeled as, a kind of more mature thing to watch, especially considering some of the content that some of them do make, and a lot of the clips. We've seen a lot of the clips and how, they can kind of make thumbnails look a little bit more suggestive to get people to click on them. I feel like, that should mark you in the more adult category and not get you flagged up. But obviously, we don't really know how this AI system for YouTube is going to work, which is, one of the big reasons why people are so worried about this new system which YouTube is bringing forward, is because they are using AI to do this. What's to say that the AI isn't bad? What's to say that the AI doesn't work for some things? And we already know that a lot of this doesn't work for things. For example, on Twitter, there's already been a lot of censorship stuff put in place, and even like people posting pictures of like their meal. There's a dude with like a burger, and it got flagged as like the post that says, due to local law restrictions, we can't show you this, right? It got flagged for a picture of a burger, which is pretty insane. And obviously, that shows you how flawed a lot of the systems are, and how flawed and how kind of inconvenient they are. Now, obviously, you can kind of rectify it with giving your personal information, but a lot of people don't want to do that. And, that is totally okay. I feel like, that is totally justified if you don't want to give your information to some random private company. Obviously, they say if you have a legacy account, you should be exempt, but knowing YouTube, it won't be. Obviously, they said, yeah, I've had my account since 2005. Pretty sure I got the oldest account with some of the VTubers I watch. I still have old DVZ and narrowed AMVs I did on my private channel. Again, so a lot of people as well, saying, I saw a comment under a YouTube video, my Google account is literally old enough to drink. If YouTube flags me for AI for being underage, I shall have a legitimate concern that YouTube or Google is using children photos to train the AI for at least 9 years. So again, yeah, they're saying if you're monetized on YouTube, your information is already on file, which is partially true. I mean, for example, I'm monetized on YouTube. Now, obviously, I had to give away some information to get paid on YouTube, and I think, that's pretty legitimate. I mean, whenever you're getting paid, you do need to kind of give some kind of identification. But the thing is, that is just for people that make content on YouTube, because this doesn't just affect people that make content on YouTube, like VTubers or whoever. You know, this also affects people who just watch. You don't have to be monetized on YouTube. And the majority of people on YouTube aren't monetized. You know, if you think, it's only actually a really small percentage of people that are monetized. Firstly, you got the channels that aren't monetized that do upload content but can't get monetized because they can't reach the requirements. But then also you've got the people that just don't upload at all, who also are monetized, that have to still follow these same rules, that don't have, you know, any of that information given out to them. Obviously, they said they do ask for like pictures of your info, but they erase any of that after a couple of days, according to them. But now that's not even enough. If your info is on file, why they need to use this? They said that's the thing. This is for more viewers than content creators. I'm certain that they keep the information on file because I provided it years before I was eligible for monetization and didn't have to resubmit it. So again, obviously, I do think they do hold on to a lot of information, but obviously it makes sense of monetization. But it doesn't make sense whenever it comes to, you know, creating an account and having to prove your age on YouTube, of all places. You know, YouTube is probably one of the stupidest ones to you know, see, because obviously it's supposed to be a site for everyone. And they also have two separate apps. You know, they've got YouTube and YouTube Kids. You know, YouTube Kids is literally designed for kids to go onto and only view content made specifically for kids. That's why they've got the section on the YouTube upload saying, is this made for kids? And then you can click yes or no, and you click yes, and then obviously only kids can watch it, which obviously, you know, should be what every parent should be, you know, pointing towards their child to, if they're even allowed on YouTube in the first place, you know. But that's the thing, a lot of them don't do that, but for some reason, you know, a lot of places, you know, feel the need to kind of force people to, you know, identify themselves and things on places like YouTube. Now, it said everyone should consider this is a breach of our privacy, which is 100% true. And obviously, you know, a lot of people have different issues with different kind of aspects of this kind of debate, because obviously you got the issue of, you know, oh, things aren't private online anymore, which, you know, obviously, you know, some people can be angry, and I totally get that. And also, you know, you got people, for example, that are worried about their information getting leaked eventually due to it getting hacked, and due to a lot of these private companies, you know, being very easily targetable by a lot of hackers. And obviously, yes, it provides a big issue for VTubers who could potentially have their identities you know, revealed. And obviously that is the worst thing to happen as a VTuber, especially with some of the fans that are in the kind of space. So again, a lot of people are not happy with this, and I think the majority of VTubing fans are not happy with this at all. Say this is going to stay if we don't push back. This is straight out a breach of privacy, that everyone should consider this a breach of privacy, that I don't trust YouTube age estimations at all. Remember when they all thought VTuber was a children's channel? If they think Cartoon Women are for kids, then you bet your ass they're going to flag their watchers as children, which, yeah, is definitely a concern. You know, if this AI tends to fail quite easily, then obviously, you know, a lot of viewers of, for example, VTuber channels, VTuber clips, could get flagged up as, you know, a different age, you know. And obviously, when that is not the case, and then you are forced to give your identity, then, you know, for a lot of people, it might not even affect you, because, you know, it won't even detect you as underage or anything like that. So obviously, they're just going to keep letting you do what you do. But, you know, whenever it comes to a lot of VTuber fans, there could be more people than the average kind of watcher that will get flagged up by the system, and then you have to give your information if you want your account back, which is pretty crazy, you know. And obviously they say, I'm not a VTuber or even any type of, I'm not even a VTuber or any type of content creators on the site, and I think this is a complete breach of privacy. So again, obviously, yeah, people say, I'm not a VTuber and I consider it a breach. Yeah, so obviously a lot of people are saying, yeah, one leak is all it will take, and that would be an instant dox, which, yeah, is 100% true. And that is one of the main issues that people are worried about whenever it comes to this, especially a lot of the fans. You know, these are fans of different VTubers in the space. This isn't just like random people on YouTube. This is on r/virtual YouTubers, and they are all concerned with this. You know, we've got posts like this, for example, as well, from other people as well, like other VTubers saying, if this bill gets passed, it's because you greaseballs on the internet can stop infighting on whether the left or the right was responsible for this. If you give a damn about anonymity and censorship, we need to let it be known together, let your voice be heard, which obviously they then put a picture of the Kids Online Safety Act, which is apparently coming to the US. And obviously, you know, with the US historically being a place of free speech, this doesn't feel very free, does it? I mean, you know, it's quite funny seeing a lot of the kind of contradictions that goes on in the US, especially for someone that doesn't live there. You know, they say they're free, but then, like, they've got stuff like curfews. I only found out about that yesterday, by the way, that they have curfews, like, for children. Like, we don't have that here. You know, you can have some, like, 7-year-old outside at, like, you know, 2 a.m. Whereas, like, in the US, you have to go in, and apparently they're the more free ones. It's like, okay, like, fine, like, I guess. They say, if you know nothing about this bill, if it passes, it will be what Britain is going through right now. You'll need to use IDs to use basic things like Wikipedia. We don't have to use ID for Wikipedia. I've been on that, I've checked it. It's fine for me. Maybe other British people have struggling with that, but, you know, they're saying this is a Trojan horse to control you. This is blowing up. Good, unite, yo, come on. Said, not some of you are making about this religion. I don't know why people are making it about religion. Said, has this not been going around trying to pass for almost a decade now? Not saying we should care, but what's so different right now? And they said, because Britain just proved what happens if we ignore it. And yeah, 100% that is true. You know, obviously people are now, you know, seeing that this is pretty bad, especially, you know, whenever it comes to looking at countries like, you know, my country, which is obviously past it. People are like, oh, wait, okay. People actually want this change now. Maybe we should start fighting back against it. And also we got all of the stuff for like all the MasterCard and Visa kind of drama as well going on, with them also pulling kind of games off of like Steam and itch.io and places like that. So again, there's also that added to it, which obviously gives us a harsh kind of look at what could happen in the future in terms of censorship. So again, it's overall not great. And as I said, there's a lot of YouTubers speaking out about it, including Bao. Obviously, we looked at Lucy Paya and Milky Ways the other day, talking about it too. And again, even more are going to come out of it in the upcoming days. And obviously, I'll keep you guys updated if there is any more that speaks out about against this, because again, it is a big problem that could hit YouTube very, very soon. And, you know, it could affect a lot of people and potentially affect a lot of YouTubers on whether they stay on the platform or not. So again, you know, that's all I got for this video. If you guys did enjoy it, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Also, go to GameStop, use my code Kaza, get 10% off. Again, they got a ton of really cool stuff over there. I definitely recommend checking it out. Again, you know, go over there. They got a new event on at the moment, I'm pretty sure, which is like a whole like event, like early Christmas event, which is cool. Like Christmas in August, which I think is pretty sick. But hey, you know, go check it out. Yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. That's all. See ya.